It's time to down tools for a bit. Welcome to the ToolShed, the influential podcast for anyone and everyone involved in the building industry. Here's your host, Mick Hawes.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to the ToolShed podcast. As always, we're looking for people and philosophies and platforms and tools and ideas to help make the building business far more enjoyable, far more profitable, far more effective. In this particular episode, I'm going to be talking to Ron Nussbaum, and he is the CEO and the co-founder of a company called Builder Comms, and looking into what they're doing, and we're going to find out exactly what they do, how they do it shortly. But I just really love their constant focus on a fresh approach to this, because there are tons of builders software around and project management, and people are always asking the question, which is the one you recommend, which is better, and there just doesn't seem to be one that does everything that everybody wants. So we're lucky that we've got variety, but trying to create awareness for everybody out there about what is about and what is around and whether it will work for you is our purpose here. So I'd like to welcome Ron to the podcast. South Carolina, he's currently sitting in South Carolina, which is just up the road from Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. We're not very far apart at all. It's night where Ron is. It's morning where I am. So good morning, good night, Ron. How are you? Tell us about Builder Comms. What I love to find out about is the backstory. Like, what were the problems? What were the challenges that were presenting that caused you to go, we need this?
Absolutely, Mick. It is great to be here. I'm in North Carolina, by the way, just a little bit farther up, but it's still...
what did I say? South
Carolina.
Bloody hopeless.
It's all good, man. Get right in there, rocking and rolling. So Builder Comms, I spent over a decade in residential construction, and really what it came down to is I got tired of getting my ass chewed for stuff that was out of my hands. And I really dove into why. Why does this happen? And where most softwares let me down was when it came to communication and getting everybody on the same page. So when you talk about your team, the customer, the client, anybody that's involved in that project, how do we effectively communicate to each other? And it's very broken and very fractured, because all we have is a bunch of emails and text messages and all this crap that just actually makes it harder. So what I ended up doing was, one night I was laying in bed and it hit me, is if I just had software that worked as air traffic control, got everybody on the same page, and made sure the right people were talking to the right people, it would make my life a lot simpler. And that is now what Builder Comms is. So I took this from an idea in my head to a product to market to paid users, and here we are. Builder Comms is now what I do, and we help the construction industry be the best communicators, documentators that they possibly can. And the easiest way to explain exactly what Builder Comms does is if Slack and Dropbox hooked up on a weekend and had a baby for the construction industry.
So you kind of you gave us the short version of, I had this idea and now here's Builder Comms. I'm sure there was some stuff in between, and I really want to get into that, because I find that fascinating. It's like, I've got this idea. Very rarely does it just turn out to be just Builder Comms, and there were no roadblocks, there were no challenges. I know one of the Jared is your co-founder. How did that happen? Like, did you know Jared beforehand, or did you need to grab him in there to do the things that you weren't able to do? What was the logistics of putting this together? And I asked the question because years ago I came up with a fantastic idea for software, and I went around and I asked a whole bunch of people who would be the clients for that software if it existed, and they thought it was just brilliant. Great idea. So we went ahead and we spent a couple of years and hundreds of thousands of dollars and got other companies involved, created it, and it was such a challenge. Like creating software was such a challenge because it's easy to make complicated software. It's really, really difficult to make simple software. So tell us about the challenges you had along the way.
Man, you're giving me some chills when it comes to that. But yeah, hey, we'll jump right. Let's get right in the mud of this. Hey, I was in the Marine Corps. I got out. I ended up in residential construction, and I spent over a decade there. So when I had this idea, I wasn't like Mr. Software or Mr. like, let's go create software. So I started knocking on those doors and spending money to get consulting and figure out what does this look like? Like, how do I build this software? And this is in 2020, 2020, 2021, when these companies that created software were flush with people that had IDs and wanted to get them developed. And they looked at me and said, "Hey, well, you're just not the guy. Like, you're not the guy to be in software." And I just called BS on that because I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm the guy with the problem. What do you mean I'm
Mm.
not the guy?
Mm.
Like, I'm the perfect guy to go do this. Just because I don't understand code or I don't understand software doesn't mean I'm not the right guy." And I ended up applying for the 10X incubator Grant Cardone in
Yes.
Miami put
Yep.
on. 26,000 companies applied. We were one of 100 that got accepted.
Wow.
That led me to my introduction and meeting Jared Yellen, and we started getting to know each other. He has a SaaS. He was a non-technical tech founder that got really good at SaaS. He had a platform that he put 30,000 users on, and he looked at me after we got to know each other a little bit and said, "Hey, Ron, you're the guy to do this, and I want to do this with you.
Mm.
I think this could be absolutely amazing." So through that, we're one of a handful of companies that have actually brought a product to market through the 10X incubator. And it really came down to the fact that Jared saw exactly in me what I knew was in there ready to rock and roll. I just needed somebody that had the technical and software side of this understanding to build this product. And I told him I want to build something super simple because that's where the magic's going to happen with this. And like you said, everything's really complex. It's easy to build super complex software because that's what everybody just assumes everybody wants.
Mm.
And that's the farthest thing from the truth. And what I got really good at was just telling my project manager and my developer no, and holding a line on like, this is what we're going to do is we're going to be a communication platform, and that's what we're going to build. We don't have to build all this fluff that is just going to water down our platform. It's going to make us suck at what we actually want to be really good at. And that's what we went to market with. So what we're really good at is communication, management, and photo sharing. Those are the three things is like within builder comms, we just simply do per project really, really good. And it wasn't easy to build a simple piece of software, but now almost daily I get to hear from guys that just say thank you for
Mm.
building something that's easy that I can get on here. And the buttons are just where I think the buttons should be.
that's that's part of the challenge, And then you get on things like Facebook and your YouTube channel and things like that, and just when you figure out where the buttons are, they move them. That's just not right,
That's a major problem, man.
isn't it?
Zoom is like the
Yeah,
absolute worst of that.
absolutely. The specific problems, I want you to run me through some of the very specific problems that a residential builder has, how those problems affect the builder, and how builder comms comes to the rescue and takes that pain away. Run us through some real world scenarios there that builder comms has been created for.
Absolutely. And I'm going to hit you with some statistics that my team actually found that
Love a
blew
good
my mind.
statistic.
Is I knew that communication and documentation on projects was a problem, and once my team really started diving into it and uncovered some of these statistics, it absolutely blew my mind. So over 30% of projects end in a dispute
Mm.
with
Yeah.
no records. For the most part, no one has any documentation on these projects. We have a bunch of he said, she said, and there's really no clear outcome from what exactly was supposed to happen on the project, what happened during the project, and here's how it ended. The average construction company with 100 employees or less, communication costs them over $400,000 a year in rework.
Wow.
It costs the construction industry as a whole over $30 billion a year.
Wow.
So that right there, for me, as being a business owner, is enough to look and say, hey, we might need to address this problem. Communication has been something that has been talked about in the construction industry for the last 50 years. It's been looked at as acceptable, as, hey, it's construction. We don't have to be great communicators. But we're to the day and age where it's actually wreaking havoc on our reputation, our bottom lines, and our ability to be able to collect payments and final payments throughout the project.
Mm. Yeah.
Communication breakdowns between clients, team members, and businesses lead to every pain in the ass you feel as a business owner.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I started at the beginning of just getting my ass chewed for stuff that was not I had nothing to do with. And I
Mm.
had no way to control the variables on this because I didn't know what was happening because it was going through an email or it was on an employee's phone or through a text message.
Yeah.
I had no way to track who was saying what was happening on all of these projects. And the worst thing is that I had homeowners that had no idea who to talk to at the company. So
Yeah.
when they had a scheduling question, they were reaching out to the sales rep, the receptionist, or just not even asking the question because they're like, we don't even have any idea who to talk to. We had somebody come out, they said they're going to be here on this time, we're going to wait. So what we need to do is be able to connect those parties. So when a question needs to be asked, they can ask that question. We used to have guys show up to job sites all the time, and homeowners would have questions about the job because what they would do is say, hey, I'll wait till the guys get out here because they can answer my question.
Mm.
Well, these questions have consequences to the project. And most of the time, in being able to start the project and supplies needing to be ordered or changed because of decisions that homeowners want to make, but they're not empowered to talk to anybody about it until the crew shows up there. So you got a crew sitting at a job site that needs to be installing, say, $5,000 a day. They don't do anything. The contract gets changed around and they go back. You've now lost the opportunity for that day and you had to move your entire calendar. And chances are the homeowner's pissed about it, even though it wasn't your fault at all.
Yeah.
It was more or less their fault for waiting until the last minute to have this conversation.
Yeah.
So when I said I needed a way to connect the people, that's where the magic really happens in builder comms is we built these channels of communication in here to make sure that that homeowner, your clients know who to reach out to in your company. That's even if it's one person. What we have found is that if a homeowner has an option to reach out to somebody that's in charge of that schedule, they're going to do it because they know it's that person that's in charge of that schedule. Even if it's the same person answering every one of the channels, it doesn't matter to them. They want to feel like they're going to reach out and get the appropriate response from somebody that's knowledgeable. Same thing with the project management or the foreman or general project superintendent channel, where they're going to talk about what's actually happening on this project. The homeowner is going to feel empowered because they don't just have an office number, the sales rep's number, or my favorite is the builder or contractor that was out there that is typically the worst person to try to get a hold of in that company. So that's where some magic really starts to happen is we start to document this process because these conversations are had in a singular place and they're simply organized per project. So it's easy to go and find that information. It's not like when you got to go dig through your email and it takes you 30 minutes to find a chain of emails for a specific project to find out what outlet's supposed to be used.
Yeah.
It's as easy as going into BuilderComs, bringing up that project, going in the appropriate channels, either pulling up the documents, the pictures, or any of the communications that have to go with that project and find out exactly what's happening.
Yeah. A little while back, you mentioned some pretty amazing figures as far as the cost of mistakes. And I just want to get your thoughts and address this whole thing about the mindset that some people have, some builders have, it's a $1,000 a month or whatever the cost is for a platform like this. There is a cost for it. But what we don't take into consideration is the cost of our mistakes. And so the mistakes that may cost a contractor or a builder, let's say $10,000. So it's not a huge mistake in the scheme of things, but it costs the builder $10,000. If you think about that, that $10,000 has come straight off the bottom line. That mistake that was meant to be revenue for the builder comes straight off the bottom line. And I mean, we do a lot of work with builders, obviously, and we have learned a lot about their financials. And when we do a financial health check with all of our builders that come into Black Belt, we've found that none of them were making a cent of profit based on like Mike Michalowicz's profit first way of looking at profit. So it's money that's not in the business, that's being taken out of the business, and it has no lien on it. It is just for you. You can enjoy it. That's really what profit is. And builders, as a rule, don't have that unless they've got a proper system in. And if you think about it, even if the builder was running at 10% and they make a $10,000 mistake, that means that they have to generate an additional $100,000 worth of revenue, which means managing more people and more materials and all of that sort of stuff, just to fix that mistake. So the cost of mistake prevention is far more valuable than any sort of cost for a software platform that can eliminate those mistakes. What have you got to say about that? Because I mean, I don't know what the pricing is of BuilderComs, and we're talking about Australia and you're in the States and all of that sort of stuff. But I just feel that it's so important to look at things like BuilderComs in that way, so it prevents mistakes, because mistakes are far more costly than what the mistake actually cost when you think about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. And one of the things that I used to preach I guess that's not necessarily the best word to use, but it's like opportunity loss. Like, what do we lose? Not just you lose that $10,000, you have to make it up. You have to do another $100,000 to make up that 10 grand. But what opportunities did you lose? What project couldn't you start? Or what project couldn't you take on that could have been one of the best projects you've ever done, because we were messing around with this over here when we didn't have to be? And that to me is one of the greatest killers of construction businesses. But just as you said, is we don't look at what, like you said, is we'll say, hey, it's a couple $1,000s, or we'll write the check or make this happen. That you do a few of those a month, just like you said, next thing it's $10,000. That's $100,000 of income if they have their shit together
And are
and
working
are
at a
making
10%
10,
profit.
yeah. Yeah, no, like I think like this is the kind of stuff like I love to have these conversations around the construction industry because this is
Yeah.
the stuff that matters.
Yeah.
It's why I decided to bring this product to market and instead of working in construction, decided to work in service of construction because I felt like I could have such a huge impact on the entire construction industry by going out and fixing this problem once and for all for the entire industry.
Yeah. And we're singing off the same page of the hymn book, basically. I mean, that's what drives me. That's why Black Belt exists, is because there is so much unnecessary pain in the building industry. And for some reason, my mum dropped me on my head when I was a kid, and I must have just, I've got this desire to help people when they are experiencing unnecessary pain. I'm all up for necessary pain. If you need to learn a lesson and it's going to be painful to learn it, bring it on. But, there's so much unnecessary pain. And what I'm hearing, what Builder Comms does is it really does contribute to the elimination of unnecessary pain. Like, we don't need to go out and find another $100,000 worth of work, lose opportunity just to fix one mistake. What if we were into a preventative approach by using stuff like this to increase the quality? Just bang my microphone. Increase, because I can't keep my hands still. Increase the quality of our communication. And also, I want you to just talk a little bit about, because this is really, really important to me, and we talk about it all the time in Black Belt, is the quality of the client experience. Because we even say that the thing that you're building is not your product. Your product as a builder is the quality of the customer's experience. They don't remember what you said. They don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. And that is your product. And my guess is that great communication takes away a lot of the problems. And so the quality of the client's experience is very high. Hey, I'm Mick Hawes from Builders Business Black Belt, and I hope you're enjoying this episode of the ToolShed podcast. I've got something super exciting I want to share with you. We've got a place that's got a whole bunch more free resources to help you with your building business. In fact, there's a whole other podcast that gives you specific training that will help you get more free time, more profit, and more enjoyment from your building business. And it's called, funnily enough, the ToolShed. It's free to join, and it's full of other success-focused builders. And I invite you to join us in the ToolShed, where you can ask me questions and get guidance and support from other successful builders. Just click the link in the description to join, and I'll see you in there. I hope you enjoy the rest of this podcast.
Absolutely, Mick. What's amazing is I come from the operation sides of things, and when I brought this to market, that's what that was one of the ways I went about it, was like, hey, as soon as you get these projects in your system, like once your operations takes over, Builder Comms is going to kick in. And then I had a couple guys tell me I was wrong, and I went, hold on a minute there. I'm wrong. What do you mean? And they're like, this is one of the greatest sales tours we've ever seen. And I said, tell me more. And they go, when we're with a customer to begin with, we just introduce it. We just say, hey, we understand communication is a concern of yours. It's a concern of ours. It's why we made the investment in using Builder Comms. So you're going to get an email, you're going to download an app, and all of our communications is going to go through Builder Comms for your entire project. It's going to make sure that you can always reach out to the right person at our company, and you're never going to have to worry about it. And that's what they say at the point of sale, to introduce it. And now they've just set that customer up and answered something that's a nagging thing in all of our customers' minds, is what happens after I write them a check? How are we going to communicate? What's going to happen? You just nip that in the butt immediately, deliver them an experience that nobody else is. Chances are we have yet to have it where we had two builder comms contractors come up against each other, but you're offering a service and solving a concern for that client
Mm.
without them even having to voice it.
Yep.
You're going to create this peace of mind for them by doing that, that the experience gets kicked off from the beginning the right way.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then they just talk to the right people throughout the entire project. We eliminate the he said, not the he said, she said. We eliminate that, but we eliminate the, hey, sorry, I'm not the person.
Mm.
Let me get back. Let me get with that person and let me get back to you.
Yeah.
That's when those sticky notes are created. And we all know what happens to sticky notes. Once a name's put on one of those, that's it. It's a done deal.
Sticky notes are the enemy.
Yes.
Pathway to builder comms. Somebody listening to this goes, okay, let's take a look at it. I notice all over the website it says try it for free. But what's the best pathway? Is it to just jump on buildercomms.com and hit the try it for free button? What's the story? What's the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. Jump on there. We have a 30-day free trial. You get to talk to me. You can set up a demo on there as well. But really, the best way is to go on there, start your free trial, start utilizing the software. That immediately opens up our chain of communication between Builder Comms and you. So you'll get some emails from me as well as our director of customer success. And we're here to work alongside you. You know, one thing that we know we can win on is our customer service. We're a construction software company built by the construction industry for the construction industry. I'm not out in Silicon Valley. I'm here in North Carolina, and we're just building a company to solve a problem for the industry. And as we continue to build the software, it's going to be off the feedback that our users give us.
Yeah.
So yeah, jump on that website and sign up for a free trial.
And tell us about the support as well. What can people expect for support? It sounded like it's a fairly intuitive system to use in any case, which would be
Yep.
as a result of the feedback that you're getting. So what does the support look like? What's that experience like? And how do your users give you feedback? How does that work?
So there's a few different ways. One-on-one, I was actually just on the phone a little bit ago with one of our customers, helping walk them through creating a project. So like we're that kind of company where you can still get the founder and CEO on the phone to walk you through stuff, as well as my wife is the director of our customer service. We have great onboarding videos on YouTube. That's where I build out our library of educational videos because that's where we live. Like if I have a problem, I'm going to YouTube. How many times are we on a job site YouTube and something? So we put a bunch of support videos on there. Every time something comes in, I personally make a video. We throw it up on YouTube. But what you can expect is onboarding cards for myself, my wife, my team, video calls as well. And we're here to support you in that process. And then when it comes to feedback, we're an open feedback chain. So either by emailing us, or we've actually just recently built out not just a support part of our website, but a product roadmap and recommendations part of our website where people can actually go in there and send us recommendations right there that would lead to what our product roadmap for this product continues to be.
Yeah. So just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us and coming onto the podcast. I think that, as I said, I think we're singing off the same page of the hymn book. We're trying to contribute to the betterment of the building industry. We're in Australia, you're in the United States, but you've got a global reach. And it's just, I really enjoy having conversations with people who are genuinely passionate about contributing to the betterment of the industry rather than just selling their shit.
I agree.
The contribution to a better experience for the builder, for the team, and for the client it really needs to be the focus, and then everybody wins. So, as I said, I really appreciate you putting the time aside to be on the show and sharing the existence of BuilderComms with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I've appreciated it. And you're right. It's about doing what the industry needs and creating a win-win-win outcome. What I love about doing these interviews is that we get to come together, we create a win for the construction industry. And by doing that, me and you win because of that. And to me, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. Love to thank Ron for being on the podcast. I know it's late night for him over there in North, not South Carolina. But check out BuilderComms. We're always being asked the question, what's the best? We don't know. It's important for you to go and try them, talk to the people, give them a test drive, give us the feedback and tell us how you go. But everything that I heard in this conversation, I think is moving in the right directions. It's all about communication. It's all about giving the customer the best experience. It's all about eliminating problems that don't have to be paid for by using platforms like BuilderComms. So go over to buildercomms.com, click the try for free button, give it a test drive, have a conversation with Ron like I've just done, and see where it ends up. It can only be a good thing. So that's it for this episode of the ToolShed podcast. I hope it got you thinking about what you can do to improve your communications and your systems and your clients' experience as well as your own business success. We'll be back with another episode of the ToolShed podcast before you know it. I'm Mick Hawes from Builders Business Black Belt. That is all. I'm out. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the ToolShed. If this podcast struck a chord with you, make sure you spread the word by sharing it with your mates in the building industry. We love your help to make the building industry better for everyone involved.